In this video, I'll be sharing with you a requested tutorial on how to cut this stylish jumpsuit. So if this is something you like, kindly hit on the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up. So let's dive right into today's video. So to start, here is my pattern paper and we're going to work for the upper part first. So what I'll do is to mark my shoulder to bust, shoulder to under bust, and after that I'll add extra 2 inches. You can add extra 2 to 3 inches after your shoulder to under bust. Now I'll go ahead to rule out a line at this point. After I'm done marking that, I'll go ahead to mark my shoulder divided by 2. And from that point, I'm going to come down by 1 inch from the shoulder. Now after marking this, I'll go ahead to mark a basic neckline of 3 inches, which I will connect. So I won't be using that, it's just serving as a guide. Next, I'm just going to go ahead to find the chest line, which is the bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches, and I'll go ahead to mark. Now after I'm done marking, I'm going to go ahead to mark my shoulder divided by 2 on the chest line. Now place my ruler and I'll connect this all the way up. After connecting, I'm going to divide what I have here into 2 equal parts and I'll come out by ½ inch. Here I'll mark my bust circumference divided by 4, connect from here all the way up and connect all the way to my bust circumference divided by 4. Now the next step I'll take is to go ahead to mark my measurements. But before doing that, I'll outline my pattern, shoulder to bust, under bust, and then extra 2 inches. I'll mark my bust circumference divided by 4. Add like your sewing allowance. For your sewing allowance, just use like 1 inch or 1.5. Now mark your under bust circumference and add your sewing allowance. Whatever you have, extend it all the way to the lower part. I'm working with a pattern paper, that's why I'm just adding ½ inch for sewing allowance. When you're working on yours, you can go ahead to use 1 inch or 1.5 because the front part you're actually going to turn it with a lining or with the same Ankara fabric. Now go ahead to rule out like -5 or 6, then go ahead to draw out like a sweetheart neckline here. This is the part that will be at the front part of your dress. I'll just mark this to indicate that I have like a strap at this point. So I'll just connect. This will be like you're going to measure from your shoulder to this point to get the measurement for the strap, and what I have is 5 inches there. Now by the time you pleat the front part on it, that is the jumpsuit coming to the front, you will have like a pleat at the center. What I'll do is just to cut this out. Then after cutting this out, I'll cut out the back. For the back, I'm going to add like extra 5 inches to it, right? I'll mark, then go ahead to place my ruler to connect. At the back, we have a sheer dress, right? What we have at the back has like a smoky effect. So what I'll do is to place this measurement I have here, and I'll go ahead to fold here up from the armhole side, right? And I'll place this and I'll now go ahead to trace it out round. After tracing it out round, this is the back, right? The back has like a smoky or sheer dress effect. So by the time you use your elastic thread to sew it, it's going to readjust to the actual measurement of your body. So this is what I have for that of the back pattern. So next, you want to get the sleeve for this dress. You can use your chest line measurement, multiply it by 2. It will give you, like my chest line or armhole is 7 inches. If you multiply it by 2, it will give you 14. You can use that to get your strap and then go ahead to add like a joining allowance to it. Now let's go ahead to work on the lower part of this dress. Now this is the part, this is the trouser or the jumpsuit part of this dress, right? Now for this center part of this dress, what I'm going to do is to go ahead and I'll mark my crotch depth extension that is in front of your trouser. Now to get this front crotch extension, I'm going to divide your hip by 16. Now my hip is 40 divided by 16. What I will have is 2.5 inches. Another way to do this is to divide your hip by 4. Whatever you have again, then divide it by 4. That is almost the same method as dividing your hip by 4. So what I actually got was 2.5. So I'll mark this 2.5 starting all the way from the upper part of this pattern to the lower part of this pattern also. That is from the upper part to the trouser part of it, right? That means you need to take a full measurement from your upper body to the lower part of your pattern. Now my shoulder to bust is 9 inches. I will go up by 2 inches from my shoulder to bust, and I'll mark my shoulder to waistline at this point, right? And after I'm done marking that, from here now, I'll come in by 4.5 plus additional half inch, making it 5 inches. So that additional half inch I'm adding is serving as a joining allowance for the center of this jumpsuit, right? Now this 4.5 is not a standard. This totally depends on your body size. Like I have a smaller body because my waist circumference divided by 4 is actually 7. So that's why I'm using like 5 inches. So if I use more than that, it will be covering the waistline of my pattern, and it won't actually give me the curve that I want to create at this part of my pattern. Now here you want to mark your waist circumference divided by 4. Now if you look at this dress, it's not really tight on the body. Add extra 1 inch or 1.5 to that. Then you're now going to add 1 inch for your sewing allowance. Added that extra is because if you notice, it is not tight on the waistline. Now what I'll do is I'll connect from this point, right, and I'll connect it all the way up. Now, if you feel this part is a bit large, remember that we have a form of pleating or fold at the upper part of this jumpsuit, right? So you're going to actually like create little pleats when you want to like fold it over to the other side to top stitch. Now place your tape at your waist and mark your trouser length. Next thing I'll do is to mark after marking the length of the trouser, add additional 2 inches for folding allowance, right? So after that, I'll place my tape, and what I'm going to measure is my waist to hip point and my trouser crotch. Now for the waist to hip point, I'll be using 8 inches for this pattern. Now from my crotch, I'll mark 11 inches. Now whatever your crotch is, please add extra 1.5 inches to it, or 1 inch, because this is a free trouser. It is not meant to be tight at the crotch part. I'll go ahead to outline. So now in case you don't know how to get your crotch, you can sit on a hard surface, place your tape at the waist, and where your butt meets the hard surface, whatever measurement you have there, go ahead to take it. Remember the front crotch extension that we marked earlier, that is that 2.5 at the front part. So yours might not be 2.5. To get this, just like I mentioned earlier, divide your hip by 16. Now place your tape here, measure 1.5 inches, then connect this way, and I'll connect. So this is my crotch. Go ahead to draw a straight line towards this point. Now after you're done marking this, start inserting my body measurement. I'll place my tape here, mark my hip circumference divided by 4, add extra 1 inch east to it, and add 1 inch sewing allowance. We are still going to open up this trouser to give it that free flow effect, and I will connect. Now at the crotch, whatever I have at the hip is what I'm going to mark, starting from this line, right? Measure the hip line, whatever you have there, you're going to trace it or replace it at the crotch line. Now that measurement you have at the crotch, that is, sorry, at the hip, that's what you will still mark all the way to the lower part of your pattern. I'm going to go ahead to connect this going down to the lower part of the pattern, and I will blend here off to avoid it having a. So after connecting to this point, right, I will now go ahead and place my ruler and connect this down towards my main trouser, and I will outline. Now you're not going to leave this way. what you're going to do is you're going to slash it open to give it a more free effect. But first, I'll just go ahead to cut it out, right? So if you just cut it this way, you're still going to have like a free trouser, but it might not be as free as you want, right? So now what I'll do is I'll divide my trouser. Like, I'm going to mark the center starting from here, and I'll take it all the way down. After marking this, I'm just going to place like a ruler, and I'm going to connect this going all the way to the upper part of this pattern, right? So I'm going to slash and open this up. This is to give you more room for a free trouser, right? So the more you open it now, the more free or bigger your trouser gets. That is the lower part. So I'll measure like 2 inches down and then cut it open a little. Now when you're placing your measurement, go ahead to like open it up a little. This will open up the hip area more, and it will also open the lower part of your trouser more. So now you notice that at the upper part, we are going to fold it over to the other side. So I'm meant to like add an extension on top before cutting out, so I left it that way so that it won't be too confusing for you like when I'm explaining it. So let's say you're done cutting out your pattern now. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and place this like place another pattern paper underneath it. Now I'm going to be adding an extension to it, right? And I'll go ahead to connect the extension. I added like extra 6 inches on top after pinning it or joining it like the pattern side. What I'll do is I'll just go ahead and pleat this and place it over it. I just want to know like the exact amount that will be okay for me before going ahead to cut out something that is not will not really give the effect. So remember that here also is going to like have like this splitted or shrinked effect by the center. This is to extend your crotch for the back of the trouser. Now you're going to use this pattern to cut your back pattern. Now the only difference is that when you're cutting it, you'll be adding an extension in front for the back crotch. What you do is at the upper part, you start marking 2 inches, right? I'll go ahead and mark this 2 inches and I'll extend it all the way out. That is, mark 2 inches extension for the crotch, and I'm going to extend this all the way to the upper part. So sorry, when I was recording, that part cut out. I could not get like a full video of this trouser pattern for the back. Now coming here, I'll mark just ½ inch because I don't like my back pattern, the back pattern of my trouser, popping out towards the front. And then I'll just go ahead and I'll extend this back the upper part of the crotch, and I'm going to go ahead to cut this out. And you now trace out the extension at the front this way all the way down to the lower part of the trouser. So sorry I could not like get a full video of this. I didn't know it had a close recording when I was videoing.